What's up, guys? It's ajmarkle here, and I'm with Holly, and we are doing another episode of If Disney Animated Classics Were Released Today, number 13.
Hey guys, Aaron the editor here. So this was supposed to be 13 from the last episode, but I forgot, so this is 14. Sorry about that.
Today, it is
Tarzan.
Tarzan, a 1999 film that was released in animated form about a young boy who ended up becoming a man. Well, boy for about first few minutes, and then became a man. A man that grew up in the jungle, meets a female woman, and then, well, we'll have to tell you about it. Let's start off with the beginning. And I actually decided to bring up the notes about it just so I could catch up.
Fair enough, Aaron, fair enough.
Yeah. Just a little disclaimer, guys. I never watched the movie entirely. I just watched scenes of it, so I've got the plot here. But Holly, she usually watches the movies, and she has more deep passion to Disney Anime class. That's one of the reasons that we end up doing it. Anyway, let's get to it. So it all starts off in long ago, where a couple end up crashing a ship in Africa, which kind of does development. They try to work on survival, but unfortunately, as they're trying to do that, an African leopard known as Sabor attacked them.
Yeah, and around the same time, there were these wild animals, gorillas, and there's one that was the main couple and who had their own baby. But unfortunately, the African leopard attacked the baby and killed it, unfortunately. And around that same time, the baby's parents, the human baby's parents, like Aaron mentioned, were killed by the same leopard. Then the female gorilla heard the babies crying. She's probably got very good hearing, and went over to see what it was. She came into the tree house that the couple built, and then unfortunately we saw a few dark things in the scene, such as like a gun, which most likely the husband tried to use on the leopard. We saw their bodies and blood stains, which were the paw prints of the leopard. Then the gorilla steps on a photo of the couple and the baby. Then here's the baby crying. At first she wasn't sure of what to do with the baby, but then she started to fall in love with the baby as if it were like a child to her, and she decided to keep him as her own.
Almost gives you Jungle Book vibes.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well.
Yeah, unfortunately though, while she does decide to adopt the baby that we will later know as Tarzan, her husband, who was the leader of the gorilla leader named Kerchak, objects, but eventually they get used to it. Over the years, though, the young baby known as Tarzan would befriend other animals to help him grow, to help as a person, and of course he always does that, like that.
Yeah, the Tarzan yell.
Yeah.
He. Before I go on, I will say that Tarzan has, like Aaron said, met other animals before he met the other human in his adult years. When he was a little kid, he often was sort of the black sheep of it, being mistreated and a bit, left out quite a bit, not just by the children, by but also the parents themselves. Even Kerchak didn't really help the kid. But he did have a best friend called Turkina, who is actually the first female gorilla child who wasn't afraid of him. Is actually his adoptive cousin. And they decide to do a dare. Well, Turk was trying to convince Tarzan to maybe not really hang out with her and her friends, which is pretty mean, by the way. But they do a silly dare. They meet a baby elephant called Tantor, who's sort of like the nervous, social awkward type, afraid of germs, I guess, in a way.
That's germophobia.
Yeah, thank you, Aaron. And all three of them become friends, and they accidentally nearly cause a little chimpanzee baby to nearly be trampled on by the elephant herd because they got so frightened that they thought they saw a piranha, which was actually Tarzan, even though he's not a piranha. And
even though they thought there was something fishy about him. So anyway, over time, he ends up. This might actually be relieving. This is a little unusual compared to the others, but Tarzan does eventually fight his parents' killer, which was Sabor. Sabor he came over when Tarzan was trying to prove to Kerchak. He got a spear and killed the African leopard.
Yeah, and I don't think many viewers realised this, but as soon as I rewatched the film, I realised not only did Tarzan do it for the sake of his unknown parents at the time, but also his adoptive baby brother, Carter and Kerchak's biological child. So technically, he
avenged them.
Yeah, which is pretty ironic, especially with the whole two worlds, one family scenario, in a way.
It's also unusual because usually that stuff's saved for the end of the movie, not in the mid or beginning. That's kind of important to point that out.
Yeah, and when Kerchak is just about to say something to Tarzan, I think Kerchak looks like he was maybe going to apologize. There was a gunshot heard, and that's when they started moving. Tarzan, being curious, decided to go off alone and see what it was. So we meet 3 other humans. We meet Peyton, who is a hunter. We meet a little short guy who is known as the Professor.
Professor Archimedes Q Porter, as I'm reading this.
Thank you, Evan. I couldn't remember his name.
That's why I have notes.
Of course. And his beautiful daughter, Jane.
Who looks like a Belle's outfit from Beauty and the Beast. Maybe there's a relation? Beauty and Tarzan. Okay, no. I'm sorry.
No.
But anyway, so basically Tarzan looks over Jane, who ends up getting separated from the 2 humans, and she accidentally got separated and got chased by a mandrill troop. Mandrills are another type of animal, and Tarzan saves her out of sheer curiosity as I'm reading this. And because she's another human, he was comparing her to him and all that, which you gotta admit that's a little different.
Yeah, some people might have had their eyebrows raising up, especially with Tarzan looking at her toes and then trying to look a bit further. or him pressing his head on her chest. But remember, Tarzan didn't know what human was. She didn't know that he didn't know he was. You know, he never acknowledged that, even though it's just a film, in a way.
Yeah.
But
Jane ends up leading Tarzan to her camp after the whole comparing thing.
Yeah, and that's when Jane starts to be very curious about Tarzan, and I think that's when she actually starts to admire him. And so does her dad, which is very nice.
Then Clayton, I'll just say this for you guys. He's the hunter, and he's definitely the guy that fired the shot. So over time, though, because over time as things continue to grow, Kerchak was not very thrilled about Tarzan getting involved with them because he told him to avoid humans, considering the fact that it was human hunter that fired the shots.
Yeah, Kerchak was being very protective over his family, and he thought Tarzan was disobeying him because of how he's been hanging out with Ben in a way. But when the more Tarzan hangs out with them, the more he somewhat isolates his adoptive family, including Carter and his cousin Turkina, in a way, unfortunately. And he becomes to learn a little bit more knowledge about being a human, such as standing up with his two hind legs, saying a little bit more easier English, knowing a bit more about knowledge such as like maths and in it.
Yeah, basically stuff that Tarzan never learned because his parents were killed. But he never really, at this time, he never learned the true fate of his parents yet. Just thought I'd point that out. But over time, though, Clayton wanted, and Jane and the professor wanted to know about the gorillas. They weren't successful until Clayton until one day the explorer's ship returns to retrieve them, so they can go back to England. But over time, there's that whole thing of, oh, I want you come to England. I want you to stay here in the jungle, that type of thing. Finally, Clayton convinces Tarzan that Jane will stay with him forever as long as leading to the gorillas, which Tarzan did agree. But as they lure Kerchak, Porter and Jane mingle with the gorillas, and Kerchak attacked the humans. Tarzan restrains Kerchak to help the humans escape, but Kerchak got so mad Tarzan betraying his family that Tarzan fled in complete shame. But then his wife, mate, decided to reveal the absolute truth.
Yeah, and that's when she took him to the old treehouse where she found him and where he was raised until his parents' death. And that's when Tarzan looked at the photo that she stepped on earlier in the film and asked him if that was him when he was a baby, to which Carter agreed, and Carter just said that she just wanted him to be happy with whatever he decides.
So he finds the suit of his late father and decides to go to England with Jane.
Yeah.
But as they go on the ship, they got ambushed by Clayton. And it was revealed that Clayton, the hunter, was going to capture the gorillas and imprison them. So basically he was not only a hunter, but he was a poacher, just to point out.
And he said he was gonna stuff some of them as well, including Kerchak as well and that.
Yeah, but over time though, Tarzan was able to help with the help of Turk and Tantor, which was two artists, and eventually they try to come with the aid of gorillas, but Clayton, the hunter himself, killed Kerchak.
And Tarzan got wounded because he got shot in the arm.
But over time, the fight between Clayton and Tarzan came over, and then as things got more darker and darker, the rifle broke by Tarzan's hand because he didn't want to kill Clayton. But Clayton tried to attack with the machete. But unfortunately, warning: this will contain a very dark image here. He decided to he lost his footing. Clayton lost his footing, and then the vine went around his neck.
And that's when Tarzan tried to tell Clayton, like, not to cut it, and that's when he cut the vine, and one of the vines was still hanging around his neck, and he fell screaming, but with the vine on his neck, and then unfortunately the vine jerked and broke Clayton's neck. And as you guys may not seen it, but if you watched the movie, you would see the shadow of Clayton hanging from the vines. That's a really dark image.
Tarzan had that dark image. First, it was Kerchak's death that led to one of the saddest deaths in Disney, and then Clayton, the villain's death as well. And then of course, Kerchak, after so long, finally adopted Tarzan as his son and named him the leader of the gorilla troop before passing away.
Yeah.
And then the next day, the Porter and Jane prepared to leave for the ship as Tarzan stays behind with the gorillas because, he's the leader. Leader of the pack, calm below, that old song. But Jane is conflicted, kind of the obvious little love story, and then over time, Porter, the professor, decides to go, Jane, you decide if you want to be with the man you love, which is Tarzan, and she ends up running back. And over time, she not only jumped overboard, she gave him a hug. She gave him a kiss,
which
surprised him because he's not used to it. But then he surprised her by kissing her back after she apologized. Ooh, spicy! Yeah. Ooh, spicy!
And that's when the Porter, Jane's dad, told one of the people part of the ship, saying, like, just say that we haven't been found. Like, people get lost in the jungle every day. Woo! And then they decided to join in as part of the family.
And over time, Jane ends up becoming part of the jungle, which led to the long TV show Tarzan, which I've actually seen a few episodes of that, which is a little weird. But anyway, that's the Tarzan movie. You guys, I know it's a little shorter than what it used to, but I actually have notes this time, so I know what's going on. And Holly gave some of the details. But let's just be real, though. Tarzan, actually, despite shock you, was rated G, but Holly on Disney Plus said it's PG, which is a step in the right direction, Disney, but here's the reason why I'm going to say this. PG-13. Here's why. Guns. There's the guns, the hunting. There is the kidnapping. Why Disney... I'm just sorry, Disney used the kidnapping.
There's also animal cruelty.
Definitely.
But also murder, like, not just for like animal murder, but also human murder too. And there's blood, quite a bit.
And then there is the hanging of the actual villain, which that almost could lead to an R, but we're gonna say PG-13 because of the intense violence and animal cruelty, as Holly mentioned. So, what do you guys think? What do you guys think of Tarzan? Have you guys watched it? And what do you think? And you guys know about the song? You'll be in my heart.
I'll be right.
Hey.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, that's Tarzan. If you guys enjoyed, please give it a like, share, and subscribe. Check out the playlist in the top right corner. Also, check out Holly's channel. Help her get to 6,000 subscribers, and also help me get to 10,000. Check out my merch. designed by Holly. She designed a logo on there, and hope to see you guys in the next video. You guys know what I'm gonna say. God bless you, rock. Don't forget it.
Be unique and be creative. Have a great day, everyone.